All right, so let's talk about the story of ONDC, and we're going to look at it like making a movie. So in this story, in my head, uh, there is the writer, which is Nandan Nilekani. Then there's a producer, which is Pramod, and then there is the director, which is Koshi. So between these three men, they've written the script of how they want to completely change how we do business in this country, especially e-commerce, and that quest is very very interesting. And they gathered these 100 odd brilliant. High energy people. Koshi says this, all that matters is energy, and that I resonate with very very strongly. And so, as usual, this is an impossible kind of a quest. Let's go back in history and look at why did Tim Berners-Lee come up with HTTP? And 30 years back, right? He was trying to solve a problem for himself, and that led to. It always starts with one person, and then that resonates with the world, which is also true for stories. What is a story? What is a movie? A movie is a person is dealing with a problem, and by the end of the movie, you solve for the problem, right? So, what is ONDC? There is a country which is struggling with the fact that it's a two or duopoly or two people or three people kind of industry in e-commerce which will drive growth not just for India but for the rest of the world, and the platform ecosystem is kind of broken and it's only built for the top 10%. The Pareto principle, I think, was written by somebody who had a very different understanding of economics. Here we are looking at a network play. The leadership of tomorrow is all collaborative, and this is completely aligned with how businesses are now being done in 2024. So if Tim Berners-Lee was making HTTP in 2024, what would he do differently? Well, maybe he'll build ONDC. And this is somebody who's new in the system, so I've not drank the Kool-Aid yet, so I can actually see the system very clearly with fresh eyes. So I have no naive notions about this, but at the same time, I realize that something which is 2 years old, something which is at population scale, has its own level of complexity and problems, and misses and wins. And in that chaos and ambiguity, when there is no model to copy from, where there's nothing to look at as reference, we are building things grounds up. Of course, you'll be a little bit of the Shiva, right? The creator, destructor, preserver, and between the three energies, something will work and something won't, and all you actually really need is resilience. And this is where I go back to the Nvidia CEO saying that, I want people to have a lot more pain and suffering in life, because resilience is all that's needed to be good leaders. And people who don't have that solid foundation of failure, solid foundation of pain and suffering, maybe cannot build long-term stuff. But who am I could be wrong. But back to NDC. So what is very interesting is you're trying to solve for business owners on one side, business owners of all size, shapes, languages, regions, etc., and not just the buyers and the sellers. And you're also changing terminology. You're saying, okay, you're a business owner, you sell one thing, you sell 100 things, doesn't matter. We will try and enable you. On the other side, there's the buyer who has some good habits and bad habits based on what the world is offering them. And in that, we're saying, okay, hey, you're buying something. Are you aware of how it gets to you? Are you aware of what it does for the people who made it, and by the time it came to you, what was the impact of it? Can we change the story? Can you be a little more conscious of the entire value chain? And the only way you can be conscious is if I open it up, if I remove arbitrage and I open up the entire value chain to you. So now that you know that sari that comes to you from Orissa, from an artisan who makes it for 200 rupees, and you get it at a discount at 150, what is the economic and the livelihood and the education impact of that? What would the future look like if you're not aware of this? So what is knowledge for? What is internet for? It's opened up information for all of us, right? So if information is open, how are you taking decisions so unconsciously just because there's a discount or an incentive attached to it? There is a human cost to what we consume, and there is a human cost to what we sell. And as long as we understand that, and we keep the human in the middle, and the citizen in the middle, and not people with power and money, it's a very interesting play. And that's, like, to me, is ONDC in a very very simple version of reality. And of course, 2 years in, there are lots and lots of learnings, lots of failures, lots of successes, lots of amazing heartwarming stories of what has been done. And it's a mixed bag. But what's interesting is you have people who have failed, you have people who have survived, you have people who have resilience, you have people who have vision, you have people who are great directors. And in the middle of it all, in the middle of this chaos and ambiguity, something beautiful is getting built, at least from an intention perspective. and some of it will work, some of it won't, but it's a great journey. So come along, let's just be part of it. Are you a business owner? Are you a consumer? Let's just do it together. Great fun. Yeah, so story of Wendy C.